Good morning, everybody. It's Marty the JavaScript party. No Rhett this morning because the dogs. This is a holiday week, and my daughter-in-law has chosen to work today. Um, it is Monday, November 24th. We have Thanksgiving holiday in a few days here in the States. It's a federal holiday. Typically, it's the last Thursday in November, and then many times in a lot of environments, people work. Um, the People will work on, um, or will have Friday off as well. So it ends up being like a 4-day holiday. It's sort of the beginning of the holiday season here in the United States of America. Now, for me personally, this is the first holiday season that I've been like in a full-time professional position in probably 10 years, so I get to actually have the uh, holidays off this year. I did have one job that was like a I was there for like 6 months. It was supposed to be a full-time job, but really was it was a disaster. So we'll get into that. But I'm working on a new feature. It is already 8:49, so I only have a few minutes. But I'm working on a new feature, and the new feature is to do a resize, and for this to be able to dynamically update itself. Um, and um, that does kind of seem like it could be classified as a bug, but I never did capture it in end-to-end testing. It does not look like there's any code to do that, so it was not part of the original build out. But it's probably time to do that now. So I added this signal. The process was to go through, find out anything that's already doing that, if anything's already using that, see if I already have some system in place. I did not have a system in place, but then I knew, okay, I'm going to need this sort of information in multiple places, so I need to sort of centralize that so that, because in my personal experience, what happens is there's typically something and I don't know what that is. It's possible for me to predict, but there's going to be something where I'm going to want to offset heights and widths and stuff like that. So moving everything into like a centralized place will hopefully make things better for me in the future. But anyways, I need to resize this, and I do. So I ended up having to create an event, uh, a scheme that tells me, and that's been quite the adventure. I'm gonna hit F12. I believe I have some console logs if I remember from yesterday. Yeah, so we are updating, and it is weird, right? Like, so when I come over here, and let's say I just leave this, let's clear, and then come over here. I'll probably need to clear again. Let's clear it. Then I come over here. It is weird because the viewport did not change, at least in my mind. My understanding of the viewport is it would change uh, um, when these numbers changed, right? Like it's still 848 by 81049, which is not a change. So that was sort of like, I don't know. That seems like a bug in the browser side to me, but I don't know. Maybe I don't understand it. But what I really wanted to do was to capture this. Now, as a side effect of this thing getting called, even when it doesn't actually change, it does mean that there's probably a good chance that all of this code here, the after view init code, may not necessarily need to be run. Like maybe all I need to do is set a flag that's been initted or just check things or whatever. But that's that. So anyways, so we have this update dimensions signal handler, and we call it from here this effect. So this effect runs anytime a signal that I'm listening for happens. And I have two signals, and they're the inputs of this component, viz width and viz height. So I know that the viz width and viz height has changed based on that. And basically the containing component is the one that's listening for the actual changed event, and then it's updating these appropriately. So I added a new function called update dimension signal handler, and basically a kind of a side effect of doing this is that it subscribed to any changes to viz width or viz height. And it's just like kind of kind of thing you just sort of have to get comfortable with it. Like we're writing side effect code. We're writing code that is because something else is happening, not because of something we're doing, which is generally more difficult to maintain, that kind of thing. And it's you're more dependent, like if they if whoever is maintaining the source code for this changes the way things work, it could change your code. And I've definitely experienced that sort of thing in general with Angular, where I'll have like particularly the value change before it could be presented bug, that or console error warning, um, where that appears after I've done a build. It wasn't. I just did an upgrade and now I'm getting this bug, and then a lot of times I can never ever get it um, to go away. Um, well, I'm spelling that right. Native lament. Um, but anyway, so this is getting called. I don't think this is enough information though. I do think I need to also pass in the element ref or render child. So um, this dot render view child. I need that so that I can update things, and I guess and it is of type element ref or undefined. The main reason I'm doing it this way is just so it'll be easier to write unit tests for. And we know that it can be undefined, so basically we just want to, we're not going to do anything with it unless um, it exists. So render view child, if it's undefined, will be healthy. Uh, um, will be falsy. So it's what they console.log. Update width and update width height. And we don't want to update width, we want to update dimensions. And I don't even know if we're even going to need any of this anymore because, like, basically, we're this is kind of like waiting till everything's done to update this. So yeah, we might just be able to call this from in here and just get rid of all this code altogether, which would be nice. Now save, and we're doing this because we know that we can't really set the width and height if the element ref doesn't exist. And now we no longer care about a race condition. We're not worried about whether the component has been initialized or not. All we care about is if all we care about is if the if I mean we don't care whether the component has gone through its things now. All we care about is whether the render view child exists. So this whole thing, lifecycle hook, may not even be relevant anymore. But we do know we want to do something along these lines. And we want to hard set that value. And we don't need we know we want it to be native element HTML element of type HTML div element, and I don't think we need this question mark because we already checked to see that it exists. Okay, so now we have our native element. We have our new width. That's new width is equal to width const new height. The big question mark is, do we need the old width and height? And I think we probably do, but I'm not 100% sure. But I'm going to guess. It's going to be a guess that we need the old width, and height. So basically, we're going to need to probably store old width. And old height. And they'll be 0 to begin with. Again, I'm not 100% sure we're going to need this. We may end up removing all this. But basically, anytime the things change, we're going to pass to this guy. Let's go ahead and put these on different lines so it's a little easier to see. Let's say comma this dot old height, which is wrong. And let's go ahead and fix that spelling issue. And this dot old width. And that looks good to me. And then we want to pass in old width, which is a number, and old height. And still have that shit misspelled, which is a number. Alright, so where are you? Height. There we go. Alright, so now these are primitives, so I guess we just call this new width and new height. These are primitives, so that means it's not going to pass a reference to the existing one. It's going to actually pass the number itself, which matters. So that means we do not need this. Oop. I don't know what just happened. We don't need this at all anymore. And then this is going to be new width, new height, old width, old height. So basically, I only want to do stuff if it changed. I don't want to just randomly, like I actually want to check to make sure they're different down here. So basically, we should never even get here. I don't know what it's complaining about now. We should never even get here unless the actual native element exists, and then we are going to try to actually update it, which we're going to end up doing a request animation frame so that it doesn't actually force a redraw. So we're going to say, hey, on the next time, do this. Now, we're going to ask it more times than it's not, but apparently the browser has that all worked out. It is 9:01, so I am a minute late to work, so gots to go. Happy coding, everybody. Bye.